Dragon Ball Daima, episode 15. We are nearing the final segment of this series as they get to the final demon world and the final castle, and the final battle is coming up here. But unfortunately, after going through some fodder, our heroes get owned by laser guns again. And I gotta say, this was extremely disappointing to watch. Vegeta got hit by a laser gun as well. I mean, we've seen these guys go Super Saiyan and take on the Tamagami, who are like supposedly the strongest or some of the strongest warriors here in the demon worlds. And now they're losing the laser guns again. We saw Goku in his fight with Frieza. He got laser gunned, and we've seen this just simply way too many times here in this series. There's even a point here near the end of the episode where they just can't beat a tank. There's a group of tanks that come start blasting them, and they're like in big trouble to tanks. It's like it's like, come on, guys, like go Super Saiyan and just blast them away. You have been fighting the Gendamire for literally the last 15 episodes. Every episode they come in and you just one-shot them all like they're nothing. Now all of a sudden they have tanks and laser guns and you just can't deal with it. It's kind of just dumb. I gotta be honest. Like, don't get me wrong. I really enjoy Dragon Ball Daima. I love a lot of the things that they've done here with this series, how they've expanded the lore. They introduced all these new characters and ideas. I think they did a really good job. But, you know, we've had enough fodder. The whole series so far pretty much has been Goku and company just stomping on all the fodder, the Team Rocket, you know, and then all of a sudden after 15 episodes of stomping on this fodder, now they're a problem all of a sudden, and our main cast is getting owned by laser guns and tanks, which is like seriously going all the way back to Dragon Ball Original, and even then, Kid Goku was taking out tanks like they were nothing. So, you know what, these are Demon World tanks. Come on, bro. I think the writing for the most part in Dragon Ball Daima is actually phenomenal. To be honest, it's some of the best Dragon Ball writing we've ever gotten, except for this. Like, this is just dumb. When they did this in the battle with Frieza movie, fans were like, what the hell? This is so stupid. Please never do this again. And they're doing it again. And you can't even argue that they're kids, so it works, because Goku got shot when he was a kid, you know, and he's fought tanks before. Like, the only argument you could say, oh, these are demon tanks, but like they've taken out all the Gendamire and all their forces like they were a joke for 15 episodes of the series. So like, I mean, I know there's going to be Dragon Ball fans who are going to try and defend this, but it's like, man, I really feel like they just wasted so much time with the Gendamire here in Dragon Ball Daima. Just like the Team Rocket. It's like in Pokemon, every episode they bring in Team Rocket and it's the same battle and you always know who's going to win, right? Like it's like the same thing. It's like, man, if you just didn't include these characters, you could have so much more story. Now, they are giving us a lot of story and combat here in Dragon Ball Daima, but so it's like, what is the point of the Gendamire fodder? Like, I just really don't see a point besides just, it's like filler. It's like it's like half of this series is amazing and then like half of it is filler. And I guess that's Toriyama style. He kind of likes that. I mean, there was a lot of fodder in regular Dragon Ball, not so much in DBZ or Super. And fans really like the big mega fights. And I understand, I totally get it, that you have to build up to it. But I feel like we could have accomplished everything we needed to accomplish here in Dragon Ball Daima. If we cut out all the Gendamire, we'd be on like episode 8 instead of episode 15. I just feel like it was kind of a waste. It kind of lost momentum. It kind of wasn't satisfying for fans. The Tamagami fights were great. I mean, people really like those big fights, and I know that we're leading into more. At the beginning of the next episode, they're going to fight the Gendamire Force, which I doubt they're going to be as strong as the Ginyu Force, but that's coming. And then also King Goma just got the third eye, so he's about to transform into some big enemy. So there is more big fights coming, but to waste this many episodes where the Gendamire are just simply fodder and they can't do anything, and then all of a sudden, after 15 episodes, now they can do something with tanks. It's it's just silly. And I think it's really turning off a lot of the more hardcore like DBZ fans. It's too childish and it's kind of a waste of time. That's really my only criticism of Dragon Ball Daima is the Gendamire. I mean, I think everything else so far has actually been great. And I actually do praise this series a lot. It's just the whole laser gun thing, it's gotta go. Okay, so that was my rant, but let's get on to the rest of the episode because we got to talk about the third eye a little bit and the upcoming battles. So King Goma is finally going to get the third eye, which imbues the user with unwielding, unworldly power. It makes you grow big and monstrously strong. So although Goma looks like a little kid right now, I'm assuming he's going to grow up into some actual threatening looking enemy, which I'm actually super pumped for. We also got some backstory behind Dabra and his father Abra, who had the third eye, and Dabra wanted to overthrow his father, so he tasked one of his minions, this little cricket guy, with stealing the third eye. And then once Abra didn't have that anymore, Dabra was able to slay his father and take the throne. So cool little backstory here about Dabra. I definitely appreciate the lore. Like, again, there's so many good things to say about Daima, especially if you're like a fan that really is interested in the lore and such, and the canonical history of how everything operates within the events of the series. This is really cool stuff. I absolutely applaud them for expanding on it so much. It's just like, don't forget what the majority came here for, which isn't fodder. So I'm not sure who this chick is. At first I thought she was Aransu, like wearing a disguise, but immediately after this scene, we see Aransu in her castle. So I guess that this woman was hired by Dagesu or Goma to go swindle and trade for that third eye. And Hibis ends up trading the third eye for her funny looking hat, which means, you know, Goma's gonna get it and transform pretty soon. So what are the upcoming fights here to get excited about in Dragon Ball Daima? Well, we have the Gendamire Force in the next episode, although I don't think it's going to be too exciting of a battle. We have King Goma, who's going to put on the third eye and probably turn into the final boss of the series. We have Dagesu, who I assume is not that strong. I feel like he's probably going to end up fighting against Shin. All the Tamagamis have been defeated, but we still also have the two Majin Buus, who will most likely fuse into Majin Dooku using those fusion bugs. I don't think Goku and Vegeta are going to fuse. I think it's that those fusion bugs are mainly just for the two Majins. So there is 5 more episodes, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. 20 total episodes for season 1. I don't know if there's going to be any more seasons. I'm assuming there's not. So one of them's going to be the Gendamire Force. I'm assuming since Goma is going to put on this third eye and become the big bad, the battle with him will probably take about 3 episodes. And then we also have Aransu. I don't know, somebody's going to have to get rid of her. Probably Dagesu, Shin, or Goma will get rid of her because she's been quite traitorous, and that will wrap up the series. But I'm totally pumped for the big fight at the end. You know they're going to go crazy with the animation. Hopefully no more laser guns and cannons in this series because it makes it really hard to recommend it to people when it's full of that stuff. I'll see you guys next Friday for Dragon Ball Daima episode 16.